Hi, I'm Ken Creasy, Senior Director of Technology Capabilities for J&J Global Supply Chain. And I'm going to talk about our perspective on bringing smart manufacturing forward and how CESMII has helped us get there. So when we take a look at innovation for supply chains currently and moving forward, it's clear that recent world events has highlighted the need for change of supply chains. And we need to be far more agile, far more predictive, far more robust. Future supply chains will be driven by customer needs, not by product pushing or process out to customers. These supply chains will be enabled by an ecosystem of modular capabilities rather than capital-intensive fixed assets, bespoke manufacturing, and linear flows of materials. They're going to be far more distributed, far more agile. Products and services will be delivered through a network of trusted third parties. We won't be doing it all by ourselves, and these things will be able to be scaled and recombined as needs require. And successful businesses will adopt a technology-enabled, data-powered, insight-driven approach. Data will be king, and we will invest and develop top talent. So when we take a look at innovation, especially innovation in the digital age, there's really 5 key elements that we see. First is having a clear mission and vision that everybody can get behind. And it needs to be clearly articulated so everybody can see it, and it stays in front of the team. We need collaboration. Innovation in the digital age is not simple. It requires bringing multiple insights, multiple talents together to really solve complex solutions. We need great ideation. We have to generate, develop, and communicate these as part of the innovation process in order for it to get the most value. Implementation requires really good execution, and we need to create that environment for execution and have a really good framework for it, good resources, and a solid team. And finally, value needs to be created, but value is measured by our customers, not internally by ourselves. Customers have to see that there's innovation happening, and they have to buy into it. So when we take a look at our value proposition, Industry 4.0 has been around for 10 years. It originated over 10 years ago in Germany. It promised this great interconnectivity, information transparency, and it would dramatically improve our manufacturing productivity. That said, we really haven't seen it just zoom up like we thought it would, right? We're a little bit dissatisfied with how fast it's materialized. So companies need to articulate a vision and a plan that merits investment. We need a roadmap for connecting and operating our facilities and their end-to-end supply chains, and one that has a vision of a responsive, resilient, and agile supply chain. We need a prioritized execution plan that builds capabilities along the way to digital transformation. This is not going to happen in one big jump. There's going to be steps that we need to take to lay a foundation for the supply chain digital future. And the team needs to be empowered to execute on this roadmap. Now, CESMII and this meeting in particular will show you how we have seen advancements in all of these areas due to the dedication, hard work, and innovation of the CESMII staff. So I talked about vision. So our vision is really about delivering unmatched customer experience and driving growth through supply chain innovation. That's the stake we're putting in the ground for our digital transformation. We'll be focused on serving customers and consumers. We'll build and deploy innovative solutions that enable differentiating capabilities. And then we'll live into our innovation and operating models. So why do we do it? We do it to drive growth, keep ourselves relevant, right? For customers, we need to anticipate their needs, give them unparalleled access, make sure that things are more personalized, they're touchless, very low barriers to doing work with us. This leads to us thinking about supply chain differently. Instead of just delivering goods, we think about all of the value that we can add through supply chain and think of supply chain more as a service offering to our customers. We want to build a healthy ecosystem for our hospitals and our patients, we need to have very predictable, very transparent, very seamless, again, very easy to deal with supply chain that's both responsive and agile. And for our historical supply chain, what we need to be is not so much linear, but we need to have a format and a structure that allows us to be reliable, very smart, very adaptive, and very sustainable. We need end-to-end orchestration and to develop the smart or intelligent and resilient supply chain. We do all of this through a clearly articulated, staged innovation process. So think about product development. We have product development for supply chain innovation. And we do this using a holistic ecosystem and governance. So we have stakeholders who actually take a look at this, say, okay, are we doing the right things? And are we doing the right things the right way? So our innovation process, our innovation engine, if you will, is really a 5-step process, and there are stage gates in between where we make some decisions as whether or not things should move forward or not. Should they be moved forward? Should they be parked? Should the projects be ended or terminated? And you'll see that there's a divergence and convergence built in here. So as we move from define, it's about opening up the windows very broadly. We converge onto some possibilities, and then in exploration, we take a look at how different technologies can come together to form solutions. When we get to the develop phase, we really start narrowing in on what the structure, the architecture of these solutions will look like, and which technologies are coming together to form these solutions. Then we'll run through real-world tests to further de-risk possible solutions. And at the end of the test phase, we'll have another stage gate, and we'll say, which of the possible solutions that we've actually tested should go forward towards initial deployment and then subsequent scale-up. As we did this, and a couple of years into it, we realized that there were some improvements that needed to be made. We laid this out and we tried to execute through this, but it was clear we needed more. So in order to improve our supply chain innovation, to get to Industry 4.0 and the promises that could be realized there, we needed to have really good alignment between all of the different businesses and different functions. Finance, procurement, they have different goals and objectives than we might have in supply chain innovation. But the quality organization, regulatory, all of these things needed to come together and set a common understanding of what that vision is. We needed to have good process understanding of our innovation process and really educate folks on this is how we're going to de-risk and get to the best possible solutions. We needed to have visibility across our enterprise to see what different solutions are out there, and a problem that may be had in, say, our consumer sector may have already been solved in our pharmaceutical sector. So were there things that we could just leverage rather than trying to recreate? We needed tremendous collaboration. Again, humility is very important to innovation. You need to be very good at what you do, but you need to understand that there's other folks who you need insights from. So we needed that cross-functional and cross-sector engagement. And we've created what we would call innovation execution teams so that we can share the knowledge of what's been developed and make sure that we have the right quality, the right subject matter experts, whether it's sensing, automation, all of those folks coming together to form solutions. And then we needed to make sure we had resourcing that was somewhat stable. And this usually means instead of working on the immediate innovations needed, leave that to the businesses and really work on some of that future-scaping and future understanding innovation, right? So that we can keep resources aligned with that for some period of time. Initially, we realized that sensing, and actually the backstory of this is how we gravitated to CESMII. We understood in smart manufacturing that sensing was going to be the starting point for all of smart factory, smart manufacturing in the future. We needed to make sure we had the best data available for all of the stakeholders in the process. So we built what we know now as our digital stack, which really goes from data ingestion all the way through advanced analytics to answer very complex problems. But and we call this our collaboration corridor, or our digital stack. It's the same thing. And you'll see that we have folks, whether they're suppliers, customers, different subject matter experts, who all have access to some extent or another to this digital stack. So we go from data ingestion to contextualization to creating that digital thread, which is really a common data layer where data is available to input or export out to solve different problems. Then we do more advanced analytics to answer more and more complex problems. So we use data from sensors to really develop far more insights into our end-to-end supply chain, not just the manufacturing piece, of course that's where we started, but really understanding that there's a lot bigger gains as we tend to look at this end-to-end. A lot of orchestration needed, to be sure, but this is where we needed to work. So this allows us to really start modeling and thinking about our processes and our end-to-end supply chain in different ways. So we took this a step further and said, okay, what are the issues we're trying to answer with sensing? Well, we had a few. One is numerous parts of our business were really under-sensorized. We didn't have sufficient data to really drive drastic improvements. So before I said there were some building blocks that needed. Getting the right sensing approach is one of the foundational building blocks. Having that digital stack or that collaboration corridor is another thing that must be in place in order to really get to Industry 4.0. So, and then we asked, are we implementing the best solutions to the sensing issues? You know, we started taking a look at everything from, do we have sufficient accuracy? Are these the right sensors? And then we took a look at the way that we implement and the way that we execute, and it was clear that we have different solutions all over the place. You know, mine is a very large company, so we had all sorts of issues all over the place, and it was very difficult to kind of boil those down and get those solved. So the bottom line here is we realized sensing was a key enabling technology for Industry 4.0. We saw that there was a lot of really good early stage work going on in CESMII, and that's how we got to CESMII. And that's why we were very keen to be a member of this ecosystem. From there, we built a comprehensive plan. We treated it as a strategic initiative. We communicated that more times than I care to mention. We made sure that there was a really good quantified justification. We put business cases on the table. We created a toolkit to help our colleagues build the justification. We then created system architecture, and again, took a look at this as a systems engineering problem and really built the architecture out and said, okay, and the architecture is actually embedded in that digital stack. This is how we're going to go after these problems. And our data science team has done a tremendous job, along with our IT group, to build that digital stack and make it available and really start building out different solutions from there. We made sure that everybody was involved, right? The analytics team, the execution systems teams, the information technology, along with process and product development, manufacturing and quality, and regulatory. So everybody had a seat at the table towards these solutions. And then we made sure we had the right skill sets. We developed some of the training ourselves. We brought some people in. Some associates that we met through CESMII came in and helped develop some of our strategy in this area. And then we built a program. We treated this as a program so that we could have a phased approach towards implementing the architecture. We had a plan for change management for our folks. We developed training for folks in sensing and IoT and Industry 4.0. And then we had a rollout plan with our most mature plants and most ready plants going first and letting others see the success that could come from there. We created a playbook for sensor selection and for system execution. We took very much a R&D approach to product development here, where we had a specification and a design. We built some standard packages, and then we went towards implementation. Whatever we learned from implementation went into our maintenance and renewal plans. So we used an entire innovation life cycle. Now, the basis of this was systems engineering. And systems engineering actually came out of a collaboration with a CESMII sponsored collaboration with George Bolus at the University of Connecticut. Very much loved the systems engineering approach, very much loved the cross-functional alignment that was necessarily incorporated into this to come out with far more robust and stronger solutions. So we started when we had this playbook and this approach, we started in areas of maintenance, cleaning, and processing. Now, predictive maintenance is the area that we're collaborating with the University of Connecticut and a few other companies on. But this is really about optimizing equipment availability, maintenance efficiency, and providing insights into our equipment. We then gravitated towards more efficient cleaning, getting to faster changeover, reduced chemical consumption, reduced water, reduced energy consumption to make this far more sustainable. And then eventually we got into, fairly quickly actually, got into product and process monitoring and really going after reducing waste of scrap product, making parametric control possible rather than doing so much post-processing laboratory testing, and really going after customization of everything from pharmaceuticals, large molecule pharmaceuticals, to medical devices. So as you can see, as we move from left to right, we can get far more complex, but then the value that we're able to generate here for our patients and our customers is a lot higher, the more effort we put in. Excuse me. So we looked at our digital operating model and said, okay, we're going to maximize value here. So the clear message to us was that execution on projects has to be leverageable to the organization. We no longer can do one-off projects. So we did test and learns. In that test phase, they have to be cross-functional. They have to operate within that collaboration core. We need to make sure we have the right sensing, the right insights that go in there. And we need to make sure that the architecture for that big data and analytics allows for scaling. We define the problems as generically as possible. We create kind of modular components that make up those solutions so that they can be repeated when possible. We started in predictive maintenance. We did database operations for cleaning, which really moved us from a recipe-based system where we had prescriptive times to let's monitor this and see when it's clean enough to move forward. We leverage knowledge that exists across industries where the problem may have already been solved, and part of our belonging to this consortia helped because the food industry has a lot of the same issues, especially around cleaning and traceability of components that we do at J&J. So that was a tremendous advantage for us to learn from what others had done. And then we increased our organizational capability by creating the playbooks, but also providing training. And then we created a portfolio that really incorporated this technological progression. We went from monitoring to control in some cases. We went from monitoring to optimization, but typically from control, good process control, to optimizing processes, and even to the point now where we can work on more autonomous operations. And then we incorporated each of the segments that we work with into the project portfolio. So just a bit about our capability ecosystem. We don't do it by ourselves, right? So we have a good team, and I have tremendous people in all of these areas. So I'm blessed to oversee the sensing, the advanced robotics, process modeling and optimization, and advanced materials development within J&J. We have tremendous people who lead each of these areas within J&J, true subject matter experts with many years of experience. And you can see some of the companies that we'll deal with. And you'll see not only CESMII here, but you'll also see some other members of the CESMII consortium that we've partnered with on a number of different solutions. And you'll see that CESMII started out as the sensing and IoT, but from process modeling, automation, even advanced materials development, we've made connections through CESMII that has helped move our innovation journey for Industry 4.0 forward. When we look at smart devices, they're really what's enabling the smart factory. It's really the combination of different things coming together. Sure, it starts with sensing, but if it can't be combined with automation, it can't be combined with vision systems, it can't be combined with control protocols, it won't be of very much value. So we've developed a version of smart factory or smart operations or smart manufacturing, which is really enabled by connected smart sensors and devices and the ability to model those things efficiently go forward. We've done quite a bit of work in digital design and simulation, and again, taking a look at getting the input from those areas and making sure that it became a key part of our strategy. We have an enterprise modeling team in my organization that looks at everything from advanced analytics to liquids and solids simulation, biotechnology, including manufacturing simulation. They do digital design it right from the beginning. And of course, we use a lot of high performance computing to get that done. And so we've been able to optimize assets. We've been able to do very quick paths, excuse me, to process validation, which has allowed us to launch products faster. We've done a lot of process analytical technology, and we've done a lot of rapid prototyping. And you can see kind of where these have fit along the way. So additive manufacturing, very big in our medical devices sector, but you can see where different technologies can come together to form these solutions. And you can see in consumer advanced analytics, the digital design and the high performance computing has really added quite a bit of value. Whereas in pharma, a lot of the biotechnology and biomanufacturing has come into place. And again, you'll see for medical devices, it kind of cuts across all of these. So just to wrap on the whole process monitoring and modeling aspect. So we have really good collaborations to develop in-reactor monitoring of our large molecule fermentation processes. And that's allowed us to really understand where we need to develop sensing elements for monitoring those processes. In medical devices, we've done a lot of process control to really understand how we reduce waste, how we conserve energy, and produce more consistent polymers as part of our processes. An output of this work was really a good playbook that was really a more holistic view that took sensing as well as the modeling into effect. It allowed us to develop, in some cases, soft sensing models where we didn't need to put another physical sensor in the system. And again, we used a systems engineering approach that allowed for very efficient optimization towards yield and process target measure. So it's been quite a journey in our space, and it has absolutely been accelerated by our interaction with CESMII, especially in the area of smart manufacturing. So we've been able to, we're not done yet. I'll be retired before we're done, right? But clearly we've built unique and differentiating innovation capabilities. We have a highly connected external ecosystem, of course, which CESMII is a key partner. We have an advanced innovation capabilities. We take a look at making sure we're in the right places around the planet. And then we have a really robust process for moving innovative ideas forward. And this has allowed us to really go outside in, really take what the needs are, get those incorporated into our innovation ideation. We leverage where we have areas around the planet to bring in even more ideas. We're able to, we have created new customer or patient-facing solutions, and in some cases, a couple of business models so that supply chain really does become a service. We've been able to leverage a lot of capabilities outside the doors of our company, and we've produced great technology and supply chain-based solutions as a result of this work. So with that, I will thank you for your attention, and we'll chat a bit later.